Hey, this is Matthew fucking Justice, and you're listening to Wrestling Cheers.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You want to go where you can see that troubles are all the same. You want to go where everybody knows your name. You want to go where you can see that troubles are all the same. You want to go where everybody knows your name.
And welcome back to Wrestling Cheers, where everybody knows your name, even if you're unannounced on the card. This is Wrestling Cheers, where I like to talk about the Northeast things, the Northeast South independent wrestling scene. We preview shows, we review shows, and sometimes we even have interviews along the way. This is a preview episode for this Thursday's AIW show, Bad Boy for Life, featuring the final AIW appearance, at least for right now, of Joey Janela. And that will be at the Winchester Music Tavern. I am your host. I am Justin Summers. And Wrestling Cheers is brought to you by the Trending Topics Network and Midwest Territory. Please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to this fine podcast, whether it be Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or Podbean, WrestlingCheers.podbean.com. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, Facebook.com/WrestlingCheers, Twitter.com/WrestlingCheers, and Instagram.com/WrestlingCheers. Email, if you so choose to desire, WrestlingCheers@gmail.com. And we have the merch store over at whatamaneuver.net. Like I said, this is a preview episode for AIW, Bad Boy for Life. And I've already told you who I am. And this week, it's just going to be a two-man show. And this is going to be really interesting with this particular show. But we have returning, and I don't even know how long, we have Pat.
What's up? Bad boy for life. I'm a bad boy.
I mean, if we're...
Who else do you need for this show anyways? I'm the goddamn resident Joey Janela expert. You don't need nobody else. I'm here. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, like, I reached out to you last week to be on the preview, and you're like, well, I'm not going to be able to, like, go to that show and all this kind of stuff. And then I was like, well, how about next week for Janela's show? And you're like, yeah, I'm in it. So...
Yeah, I had to miss again, man. I haven't missed a show in so long. I went like 2.5 years, and then I had to miss. My son was born, and then I had to miss again just recently. Now we were homeless cosplaying for the weekend, which we do every year on that weekend. Yeah, it was not fun not being there. Luckily, they streamed it on Fight TV again, which was that's always good. So even if you can't be there, can still watch, you can still keep up, I know what happened with everything. I know where we're at in the IW.
Well, that's like with this show that they announced that it's going to be on Fight TV, and it was after I bought my ticket. A part of me was going to like give away the ticket and just watch it at home. And like that's, if it was any other show on a Thursday, I think that's what I would have done, with working the next morning and having to get up at like 6 o'clock in the morning. But I was like, well, this is going to be the last time Janela is going to be there. I was actually kind of upset that he couldn't make it. Like, obviously not his fault, but, I was disappointed that shit went down and he couldn't make it. So when this came up one last time, and I've never got a picture with him. I never bought an 8x10, never bought anything off of him. And I want to at least get the picture, maybe an 8x10, whatever, but just like, help send him off and, wish him well in AEW.
Well, yeah, he just got his friggin' car broken into and all his gear bag and all that stuff stolen, so he's definitely going to appreciate any merch and stuff like that anyone's going to buy this Thursday for sure.
Yeah, that too, like getting shit stolen. It just reminded me of fucking Matt Justice. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, there's been a string of stuff like that happening lately, but it's a big time bummer, man. I can't imagine that would be a good feeling. Whenever I do DJ gigs and stuff like that, when I'm driving to them, I'm always worried that I don't have something or I'm missing something or I don't know. And like that pit in my stomach not having the equipment I need. I couldn't imagine being like a wrestler and having to do that and being like, oh, great. My clothes that I wear every single time that are supposed to be pretty much the same so people recognize me are now stolen. Sweet.
And it doesn't seem like a lot of wrestlers have, like, just a plethora of backups. Like, oh, I have, like, so many in this bag, but, like, I have this many in my closet. It seems like what...
They're expensive, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Especially really good ones. It's not cheap for that stuff.
But what I was going to say is, like, whatever's in their bag is, like, it. So, you know, shit comes up missing, they're fucked.
It's brutal. It's for sure.
I mean, luckily with Joey, like, he's in a little bit, like, better situation than, like, Matt Justice was. Like,
I would agree.
But
But I
was gonna say, it still, like, sucks to see. And, like, at least I didn't see pictures of Matt's truck. Because I believe he did find, I think, the truck or whatever happened. But just, like, actually seeing his car, Janela's it looked like someone just took a baseball bat to it. Some of the windows and just got, like, everything they could.
Same thing with Matt's driver's side and passenger side windows were just busted out, glass all everywhere, and stuff that the funny thing what Joey said too is he had like $80 or $60 or $80 in cash just kind of strewn about the vehicle, like maybe in the glove compartment, a couple to 20 here or there, whatever, regardless. But you know, it's a smash and grab situation when they just grab bags in plain sight and bolt and leave stuff like that, you know?
Yeah. I remember back in, I think it was 2003 when I went to the Gathering of the Juggalos and I had my car, I had my car broken into. I was an idiot and accidentally left it unlocked. It was a Oldsmobile Cutlass Sierra. Just got to lock the fucking doors. Not only did they steal my CD collection that was in there, a jersey that a friend of mine wanted me to sell while I was there to like some random person, just so he can get some money for it. But they stole I had like notebooks in there with writings in them, and they fucking took that too. And I'm like, really?
You think they're like reading those back at the campsite, like roasting you, like, listen to this, he wrote this, and just like because they don't know the context or anything, you know?
I don't even remember what was in like them. Was it? I don't know if it's just like regular school shit or like just like maybe some like short stories or some songs that I wrote, but still,
sure.
Like I don't fucking remember. And yeah, it was just like it was this big field of a parking lot, and yeah, I came back. Everything was stolen. I think the thing that got me the most was the fact that my CD collection, which at that time was in a fucking binder. Like
Us old people remember that.
And literally filled, and most of the CDs were original copies. And I at that time, and I changed it after this, obviously, I had the CD and the booklet for it. Because I always thought that looked cool. And when I got that stolen, it's like, great, I have a bunch of cases at home that don't mean shit.
Yeah, it's like, it's back in the time when this was probably before the big burn craze too, where you had actual hard copies of CDs too, not just like a burn copy, you know?
I mean, the burn craze was going on because you remember that was like 2000, 2001, like when Napster first popped up.
Yeah.
But I like took pride in like having like certain like original copies of shit. And then after that point, yeah, I went burn crazy, and then I got an iPod. And I would borrow people's CD collection and upload it to my computer just so I could have it.
Sure.
Just having to rebuild. But granted, that's like minor shit. Like, someone steals my CD collection now, it's going to suck, but it's not my livelihood. Like fucking Janela and Matt. Like that, people suck.
I wondered how we got on that conversation. I forgot how we got there.
I brought it back.
Nice.
So, a little peek behind the curtain. You probably know, or I don't know if AW announced this. If they did, I fucking missed it. There is only one match announced for this show, and there's only going to be one match announced for this show. Joey Janela versus Alex Shelley. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, I was also told that there was word going around on Friday night. I wasn't there, so I can't confirm nor deny, but I heard a little birdie told me that word was going around that there's a real big match too, a big match going on that like you'll probably be glad you didn't sell the ticket, and stay home because apparently there's something big going on that they're not going to announce. And yeah, I'm pretty excited for that because, I would normally just assume that this would be the biggest thing that I'd be worried about is the Janela match. But now just with that looming in the background, who knows? Who could it could be Boogeyman, I mean, who knows? Could be anyone, so.
I think the thing with me is, like, from a podcasting point of view and the fact that we preview these shows, like, I don't like that they're only announcing one match. But it is a bit of a challenge, like, okay, one match. Let's see what we can do with an episode. But also, there's the fan side of me that anytime that they do like a mystery opponent or mystery partner, that those are really, really fun matches, because we don't know who it's going to be. There's always guesses, and now we're going into a full card minus one match that we don't know what's going on. And it reminds me of at least what I remember it being like the first ECW One Night Stand. I don't remember knowing a card, and I just remember watching the show and being like, okay, what's going to be match one? Then after match two, like, okay, what's going to be match two? And just like going, just being surprised with everybody who came out. It was fucking awesome. And I think it's kind of what this is going to be like.
Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite things about wrestling and in wrestling is the surprise aspects of all things. And I do that with the cards when I know, who they are and what they are. I'll guess the order. Oh, what's going to be next? Is this going to be later in the show or that? And there's great anticipation in that, and that's fun. And now we don't even know who's wrestling. So that'll be really fun. It's going to be music hits, and then you figure it out. So, and that's always fun. Plus, people listening to the show, we can sit here and speculate. They could be in their car speculating as well. They're probably shouting out, what they think is going to be on it. People will probably listen to this driving to the show, so
I think we're going to get some students. That's kind of what I'm expecting. Not as for the whole show, but it's a Winchester show. It's a Thursday show. So we're going to see at least a handful of students, whether it be a newer class or an older class. But I think also it being a Thursday show, like that's when we're going to get people who we're not necessarily expecting, because it's a Thursday show. There's not a lot of them running across the country.
A lot of people are able to be booked.
Yeah.
On a Thursday. So yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah, I mean, I at this point, the students though, a lot of them are, in the fold now as far as AIW goes, and are starting to have some storylines, Bitcoin Boys and stuff like that. And, the students are in the forefront. Arthur MacArthur, those type of guys, so you say we're going to get a lot of student matches, but anymore, to me, that's just, the AIW roster. Some of the newer guys, but, I don't even consider them students per se anymore. They were just the most recent crop of students.
I'm not saying we're going to get a lot of them. I'm just expecting a lot of them to be in matches. And
sure.
Like I said, it could be like some of the newer ones, like Bitcoin Boys, Chuck Stone, and Arthur MacArthur. But, I'm also considering like a guy like Dr. Dan and Parker Pierce and Big Twan Tucker. Yeah, guys who are normal wrestlers in AIW, and even like the Weird World. Weird World has been, I don't want to say MIA, but I feel like the past year, they haven't been on every single show like they used to be. Like they've kind of taken a step back. And this could be like a show where we see the Weird World.
I need the Weird World on every show. I need Dr. Dan on every show. Those are my guys, man. Mm-hmm. I need both of those on every show.
And then we have like people who, who's going to probably be my pick for newcomer of the year for AIW is, Lee Moriarty. Like that's a dude who's been killing it. And if he's available on a Thursday night, which I figure he would be, I think he's going to be there too. But that's the thing, like we don't know. The possibilities are maybe not endless, but it's pretty close.
Yeah, I could see giving Lee that title. He's definitely been in the forefront of all the newer guys that didn't, go to the school. I wouldn't hate seeing Manders back on a Thursday night at the Winchester again. He wrestled, or was he just at that Winchester show? Maybe that's what I'm thinking.
He was at the Winchester show, yeah. And then he did the brewery show.
That was at the brewery show. But yeah, I'd like to see that guy back again.
Yeah, he'd be one I'd love to see. I mean, what's a show without Mance? Not Manders, but Mance.
I'm pretty much going to need Mance Warner on every single AIW card. Now that I can officially say, with Joey leaving, this being his last AIW match, he's going off the indies, as they say. Mance getting promoted to number one, dude. That's my guy. Gonna need him on every show.
Mance is just great. I can't say enough good things about the dude. Like, I was even thinking, because I know, like, I've seen, like, a lot of lists online this past week of, like, your top 5 or 4 favorite wrestlers. And I was actually thinking of, like, how about my top 5 that, not necessarily they're my favorite wrestler, but, like, as people, I really love. And that's one of them that's really at the top of that list. Like, every show I go to that I see Mance at, I give him a hug, and, like, he's a good dude.
He just can do it all. He can do old school like wrestling, old man wrestling. He can do deathmatch ghoul shit. He can just do brawl stuff. He does it all. He's on social media. A lot of times you'll get guys that are great in the ring, but then maybe they don't do so much presence on social media, or they're great on social media, but their in-ring stuff is a little to be desired. Maybe they should, spend more time training than on Twitter. But with Mance, I feel like, man, the guy does it like he does got it all, dude. He's got all the buttons.
Quite
Jim Cornette hates him, so that's good.
I was going to say, like, quite easily one of the nicest dudes out there. Like, just as a person. Like, the crowd, I think he's definitely up there of quickest to get over. Just, I think it was within that first match, and sometimes that's a little difficult, and he's one of the ones that pulled it off.
We didn't even get his entrance, which I was going to say, he checks all the boxes for me. His entrance song is great, but we didn't even get that entrance at first. What I will say, though, I'm going to give the Caden rub here. I will say that I think that had a little bit to do with it. When he came to his first AIW match, the first 2 or 3 times, Caden did the boot wipe. And I definitely think Caden getting in there and I think that helped him. I don't think Mance needed any help, but I think it did help. I gotta say, I think getting the kid in there with you is definitely never a bad look.
Was that a unintentional pun of Caden rub because it was him rubbing the boots?
The boot shine down. I just meant, I know. Yeah, I don't know.
Another one.
I'm bad at puns. That was too good for me to come up with on purpose.
One dude that I would love to see is Space Monkey.
We haven't seen Space Monkey in a while, man. I want to say. Shit, when was
all year? Last time was the big last minute run in. Well, I don't even remember everybody, but it was like MJF came out to save Cabana, then he attacked, and then Space Monkey came out. What was it? Probably Ethan Page and I can't even remember.
Yeah, I love Space Monkey, but I honestly cannot remember the last time I saw that little guy in AIW.
I think it was Ethan Page and Colt Cabana versus, what's it? Duke Money? No.
Like I said, I honestly have no clue. Would just be guessing.
It was the December show because I vividly remember it at Ohio Nets, and I'm purposely kind of stalling so I can pull up. Here we go. Oh God, it was a 8-man tag. I was thinking like 2-on-2. It was Ethan Page, Dr. Daniel C. Rockingham, and Duke Money versus Colt Cabana, Kikutaro, and Twins.
Okay.
And then MJF came out.
Because you need to borrow money or something, right?
No. That was the one that he came out dressed like Cabana, and it looked like he was...
yeah.
He looked like he was coming to Cabana's aid, and then he turns around and says, fuck it, starts beating up Colt, and Space Monkey came out, so it ended up being a 10-man tag with Colt Cabana, Kikutaro, Twins, and Space Monkey versus Duke Money, Dr. Daniel C. Rockingham, Ethan Page, and MJF.
Gotcha.
So that was... and it was unannounced, too. So we haven't seen him all year, and he has been unannounced in longer than that. He's at the top of my list of someone I would love to see. Let's talk about Joey Janela for a second, and you are our resident Joey Janela fanboy.
Yep.
Huge fan.
Yeah, I saw him his second ever AIW appearance. I only missed one of Joey's appearances, actually. His first was, do you want to try and guess who it was? It was a 4-way. The show was right here. Hold on. It's 2016. I won't tell you which month because obviously that will give it away.
Okay.
But it was a 4-way singles match. Want to give any guesses there?
First, I want to try to...
Some heavy hitters in AIW. Well, at least one heavy hitter in AIW.
I'm going to try to guess the month.
Event?
Well, I'm going to try to guess the month.
Okay.
And I'm trying to... Like, there's a lot of shows that if you just say a month, like, a certain event comes to mind. But
okay.
I'll start with March.
It was in March of 2016.
So Gauntlet for the Gold.
It was Gauntlet for the Gold 11. It was a 4-way singles match.
After that, I can't even think because just so many matches and everything.
Johnny Gargano defeated Cedric Alexander, Joey Janela, and Louis Linden.
So half of them are in WWE.
Yep. Yeah. So 3/4 of those guys are all signed to major, promotions now. So that's a big match right there for Gauntlet for the Gold 11, if you remember that. And then he wrestled, like I said, his second event was the second time he ever was in AIW. That was my first time seeing him. Forgot About Dre, the rap show, 2016. He defeated Facade.
Was that the one that he was on the cover?
Forgot About Dre, yes.
Yes, okay. Mm-hmm. I vividly remember that one. That was Booker T.
Which is that's kind of cool to say too for your second ever appearance in AIW. You get a DVD cover / kind of your face on the poster type deal.
And the thing is I remember these, but I don't remember them as a highlight. Granted, I've often said I'm not a huge Janela fan, but it's not. I don't hate him. It's I've never been one to just go crazy for him. I like him when he shows up and all that kind of stuff. And when some of the bullshit has happened, this fucking the incident with the match versus Glacier, I those definitely sucked. But I've never, like I said, I never bought a shirt, which is crazy because how many shirts I own. I've never got a picture, 8x10, nothing. But I don't hate the dude. I don't go out there and say he's a piece of shit or there's a handful of wrestlers. I'm nah, I just really don't care for them. Him, it's just I don't love him to death, but I don't hate him.
Okay, I gotcha. He was also his third appearance, which is another big one, which I wasn't at because obviously it sold out pretty quickly. Whole shebang, Gargano's farewell. Alex Daniels defeated him for the Intense title. So you go debut against Gargano, Cedric Alexander, then you wrestle. Your second match is versus Facade, which is nothing, crazy. But then third match, it's for the Intense title. So, Forgot About Dre. I was going to say that when you get the show poster. So 3 in a row right there, pretty big. They're showing him some love, giving him a bit of a push there. So, and then after that, Jelly of the Month Club, and then it was just from there on out. Every other time he was in AIW, it was pretty much Janela zone. Everyone loved him from there on out, pretty much. What would you say if you had to go top 3 Janela moments? Can you run any down or what? I prepared mine. I know what mine. Top 3 in AIW. I guess we'll go AIW specifically.
Do you want to go 1, 2, 3 or 3, 2, 1?
3, 2, 1. Come on.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. I'm just making sure.
Of course.
It's not necessarily a highlight, but it's one of the bigger moments that people are going to remember. It's the match versus fucking Glacier and injuring himself like that. And and I think he was very disappointed in it. And I think it's very similar to, and I'm not comparing them identically, it's to Teddy Hart. But I felt like Joey felt really bad and he wanted to go, and he probably could have gone a little bit longer, but it was we have to wrap this shit.
I mean, he went pretty long with a broken goddamn finger, man. I was going to say, a lot of guys probably would have called it and took a roll up right there. I mean, I was standing right there and his finger was absolutely destroyed. That was fucking gross to even look at. So the fact that he snapped it back in and then just wrestled for, that was another, I have the DVD and I want to say the one time I timed it, it was another 12 minutes he wrestled for.
And the crazy thing is, I think he was upset with it. That's what I'm kind of saying, where he felt like he let us down.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that, but yeah, it's he's the man, that's for sure. A lot of good moments. And
I felt like that was a match kind of catered around Joey Janela, as in we're going to have this show. Joey, who do you want to go up against? Glacier? Okay, fucking let's bring in Glacier. Let's have enter the 36 cryonic chambers. Like, it was fucking great.
Yeah, he has been kind of on this kick of wrestling older guys and kind of getting these great. My third one, I would say, is when he wrestled Marty Jannetty. That was an incredible match, man. That was just an absolute banger of a match. So yeah, I mean that's kind of the similar with Glacier, where he was just on this tear of just wrestling just wild names, and that was one of them. Getting to see that Marty Jannetty match after seeing it on spring break and all that, and there was such big talk of it, and then the fact that AIW got it was just it's good stuff, man. That was my number 3.
Okay, what's your number 2?
So number 2 for me would be the ladder match versus Donst.
Okay.
Although he lost that match, that was one of the greatest wrestling matches I have ever seen live. Those two just fucking absolutely killed each other. So many great spots, so many just unreal shit. When I was just recently doing my homeless cosplay, I had a DVD player and a TV, and I was playing a bunch of my AIW DVDs. And that was one of the matches I played that actually some people were standing around and were like, holy shit, like, what the hell? Casual. When normies see wrestling on TV and they go, oh, well, that was kind of cool, it's something all right. So what about you? What's your number 2?
My number 2 is the J-Lit win. Because, that was such a huge moment. And then it also kind of added in the fact that he didn't give Wrestling Cheers credit for using the fucking picture.
You love that. You were so mad at him.
No, I wasn't mad. And it's something that a lot of people do.
Oh, you were mad.
No, I wasn't mad. It was just I gave him shit for not tagging, and then he gave me shit for giving him shit. Then I turned around and I added I had to get kind of a last word in about it, but it was definitely no hard feelings. I mean, it didn't help to what I've said earlier of I don't love him, but I don't hate him. And I just felt I don't love him, but I don't hate him, especially for this. I don't hate the dude. He just didn't mention Wrestling Cheers. And my whole thing behind that is, if you're a wrestler, just tag us. Just, even if, and I've often said this, if Caden took the picture, but he tweeted it, which that's what that happened with that. If he would have gave Caden credit, I wouldn't have cared. I'd have been like, okay, he gave who took the picture, but give either the person who took it or Wrestling Cheers credit. Just please. And that's all I ask. Cause at least maybe it helps get the name out to more people. And I even kind of liken it to the whole thing when I found the Spotlight Series podcast. It was a logo that I seen everywhere, and I know so many wrestlers who had been on the show. So then when I went around and I finally gave in because I'd seen the logo so many times and started listening, I look back, I'm like, well, everybody who ever tagged it or shared it, it was embedded into my mind. And that's kind of just what I asked. If you're going to use our picture, just please.
Yeah, I don't care. It doesn't really bother me. It'd be cool, and it's always fun, but, whatever. I'm not mad about it.
Well, that's what I said. I wasn't mad, but it was just kind of I even think the comment that I made was just kind of hey, man, we took it. Just kind of giving him shit. And then, yeah, just, it was definitely, at least from my side, there was no hard feelings, even, during it. I was just meh.
You know what I'm looking at here? I gotta go back. The Forgot About Dre show poster, I believe, was actually Booker T. It was Next Episode was what had Janela's face on the DVD,
which was the next year, and obviously, if you have the Chronic 2001 album, Forgot About Dre is right before the Next Episode.
Yeah. Yep, so that was my bad. So he didn't get the cover of the second show in, but, my bad. But it's saying here, I don't remember this because I was definitely here, but it was Infinity and Beyond and Alex Daniels and Tim Donst versus Crazy Payne, Janela, and Lewis Linden. I don't remember Janela ever tagging with Crazy Payne and Lewis Linden, but maybe I do. I don't know. That's not ringing a bell for some reason. I don't know.
I tend to forget a lot of the Crazy Payne shit.
All right. So so my number 1 actually was, my number 1 was J-Lit.
I was kind of going in a snake pattern, and I was gonna say my number one.
Oh, my bad.
No. When you said your number two, I was like, ours is gonna be switched because because my number one is that ladder match. It was Absolution, and technically that was right after the whole like disrespecting situation, whatever you want to call it, for the photo.
You were back on liking Timmy again.
I felt like I was torn between the two, but
you were on Timmy's side for it. You were mad at Joey, and you were happy with Timmy again. You guys were buds. Which I like Timmy. Usually I root for him too, but then, that's when I started rooting against him when he wrestled Joey.
But they put on a great fucking match, like regardless.
Yeah, that was really good.
I don't remember if that's what I picked for my match of the year, but I remember Donst's title reign was just bookended with great matches versus Janela and obviously Matt Justice, and everybody was talking about them afterwards, and even like going back to the end of the year, we were definitely talking about Janela versus Don. So that, to me, like, that stands out. It was, like I said, it was Absolution, so that always has a big meaning too. And there was the feud with Donst and Janela was great. There was the one
that
point
time he came out with Donst came out to Janela's music.
Dude, I was just about to say that.
Him. Yeah.
What's with everybody impersonating Janela? Because we just had it with Wes Barkley.
Yeah, I mean, he's a popular guy, so,
I'll admit, though, Absolution, I really wanted that to be Joey. Even if it was just for I couldn't fucking make it till the very end, but I'm here.
Yeah. It's, you talking about when he missed the last show at Absolution? Yeah. I wanted him just there and regular because I thought he would have the match, with Swoggle. And then I assumed maybe we would get some sort of him cashing in, but then maybe losing it or something. I don't know. I just thought maybe we'd get something else from him.
I thought if they were going to let the J-Lit cash in count, like say, just play in hypothetically, that was actually Janela. And he came out and he cashed in. I figured it would have been cool if he would have won, but then Justice would have come out. He would
right, you could have a double change. Yeah, that would be great too. Yeah. Right, yeah. That I thought maybe we'd get something like that, or at least I was hoping that's what we would get with the Absolution thing. But I think this will be good. Him versus Alex Shelley will be really good. It's at the Winchester, so it's a tiny little spot. Did you get guaranteed early entry, whatever, a guaranteed seat or whatever, the extra $5?
Yeah, I jumped on that quick.
Every time, dude. Every time.
I missed out on the last one because I was like a last minute type thing. It was like a couple of days prior, and I was like, fine, like I'm going to go because I was unemployed at the time. And I didn't know if I was going to be, like, when they announced everything, I didn't know if I was going to be working. Ironically, when they announced this show, I was unemployed. But then I was like, if I can make it, I can make it. If not, whatever. Yeah. So now with back to being local, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm fucking going. Like, I'm going to be tired the next day. But
yeah, you can't miss it.
What do you think a Joey Janela cash-in would have been like? I think that's something that it sucks. Like, we're talking about, like, that was in both of our top two. Like, that moment of him winning J-Lit, and he is now the first one who actually had a cash-in that didn't get to. And I felt like I've been told by AIW that the good guys, faces, whatever you want to call it, like, they're always going to announce, and the bad guys, heels, they're going to be the ones who do surprise. But I'm like, it's Janela. He's a bad boy. Like, I don't care if he's loved and he's good. He, like, it would, to me, would have fit more the character of just cashing in whenever the fuck he wanted.
Oh, I definitely think we would have saw him just coming out, which is why every show that he wasn't actually announced or blah, blah, I would endlessly check and see if he was booked somewhere because, yeah, I mean, that I definitely think AEW, or not even necessarily AEW, because it was the injury that kept him out for almost a year, but we got robbed of a really, really good moment for sure.
AEW was just the icing on the cake of, yeah, he was injured and he was able to come back, but like, I don't remember when it was announced that he would be signing, but I think it was just kind of like, well, Like, there's no way we're gonna definitely see it now.
Yeah, it was him getting hurt was definitely one of the worst things to happen to that. And man, fucking Thorne's got some bad luck with guys he likes to push, and he's getting signed lately like that. This keeps happening to him.
I think it's a good thing. I think it's one thing that sets AIW apart from a lot of other companies, maybe not regionally, but nationally. Like, I'll always hear about certain companies and everything and the kind of talent they bring in. I'm like, man, we're lucky. And I even thought about this, like, when I first started becoming a fan in 2011, I'm like, we had one of the top independent wrestlers in our backyard of Johnny Gargano. And then we wanted to pull out the historic independent wrestling veteran. We had M-Dog Matt Cross also in our backyard. And like, that attracted a lot of like other wrestlers to come through, and being in a good place in between New York and Chicago. Like, we're like a mixing pot of good wrestling, whether they're from here or they're able to get here quick.
Yeah. Cleveland is definitely in a good spot for that. We seem to be able to get, I guess I don't know that side because I don't know what Thorne's paying for certain flights and stuff, but we get a lot of talent here. If you look at who's wrestled here over the years, Cleveland, Ohio is definitely a hotbed. I mean, if you look at here, like I'm scrolling through right now, we got Janela versus Jimmy Jacobs when Jacobs came back. AIW is like one of the first people to start booking him again, if you remember that.
Was that the Hell on Earth?
Rulers of the World.
Oh, Rulers of the World. Okay, that was right after that. We only had him like a couple shows.
Yeah. He got hurt too Jimmy Jacobs was only around for a little bit. And then Janela versus DJZ. That was a great match in AIW.
Both signed.
Yeah, right. I mean, if you look at all the guys that he's wrestled, it's a lot of big names in AIW. That's for sure.
I mean, even outside of who Janela's gone up against. Like, I haven't been to the AIW website in a long time. It's just kind of like the evolution of, how shit goes. But, like, the roster page, as I'm trying to pull it up right now, it's somewhat up to date. But
I was going to say, did it get updated or what?
Still, like, some of the updated names of people who used to be in AIW, or even some of maybe just had, like, one-offs. That's why I think, like, we're so lucky and so spoiled. DJZ, Chris Harrow, Adam Cole, EC3. There's another one who
EC3 was on Rulers of the World too. Yeah,
I was gonna say one that was in our backyard.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
We've had Ricochet, Kevin Steen / Owens, whatever you want to call him. I'm just jumping around on this list, and there's just a lot of names: Akira Tozawa, El Generico, now known as Sami Zayn. Just, we're spoiled.
Indeed, we have seen a lot of great names pass through. That's for sure. But I don't know. I'm not really worried about it with people getting signed and stuff. I think there's a lot of great names still up and coming. I don't know. You got guys like freaking Josh Bishop. He's right in our backyard. That dude's gonna be huge someday soon.
Oh, well, that's kind of like what I was thinking too. Of that's who was in our backyard when I first started. And when Johnny left, it kind of left a little bit of a void of like having like that caliber star. And I feel like guys like, and I've said it for years, Josh Bishop and Dominic Garrini are in a competition of like who's going to be the bigger name. And I don't think they've ever come out and said it, but I just feel like the way I've seen both of them go from company to company and make impacts in their own particular way. We just have Dominic Garrini, who just signed with MLW. And earlier this year, Josh Bishop has had one of the best fucking years and best one of the best WrestleMania weekend moments on an independent wrestling show. And then he had the whole thing with Matt Justice at the Odeon.
Yeah.
Like, it's fucking nuts. And they're dudes who, in a couple more years, they'll be way, way bigger names. And I'm very proud of those two. I love them both to death. And seeing them, just itch and scratch and claw and get higher and higher. And even, like, let's talk about, like, kind of outside of what we see in AIW. I love Violence is Forever, Dominic Garrini and Kevin Koo.
Dom's the guy, man. I don't know Kevin. I haven't really talked to him. I know he's been around a couple of shows, but haven't got to talk to him. But Dom's my guy. But you know what? We didn't even say, talking about the Intense Icon real quick. Today's his birthday. Josh is 22 today. Happy birthday, Josh.
Yeah, you're going to hear this days later, but happy birthday.
It's all right. We still acknowledged it, you know. It's my guy. Got to say what's up. But yeah, Violence is Forever. I would like to see that tag in AIW.
Kind of like going back to like what we were talking about earlier. You know, one of the people or some of the people that I want to see at this show, and I kind of expect them one way or another. And one of them's really making a name for himself right now. That's the Production. And the one I'm talking about of making a name for himself is Danhausen. Legitimately.
Love that Danhausen, yeah.
Legitimately love that Danhausen.
Did you see Big Adventure Danhausen, where he did the tequila dance on the bar and kicked PB Smooth in the face?
I wish I could have been at that show, but the fact that it was a Sunday, and there's some like shows outside of this area that run on Sundays, I'm just like, nah, that's, if the Browns are playing, I'm going to be watching the game, that's rarely at home, but normally I'm at a bar in Kent, so...
Where was that show at even? I didn't even see where that was.
That was in Columbus. That was like a fundraiser for Unsanctioned Pro. If I'm correct, the whole story is they did a DVD watch party there a month or so ago, and one of the matches that they had there, like no ring, they just kind of like brawled, and it ended up going outside and like damaging a car. So they did a fundraiser to pay for the damages. Yeah, so that was one of the matches on the card.
Yikes.
I love PB Smooth too, and like getting PB and Danhausen together is something that I know we've seen in AIW, and it's fun seeing elsewhere too.
Yeah, hell yeah. I think it's going to be a good show though, man. I love all AIW. I love Thursday AIW, so you know. I didn't get to go to the show recently, obviously. So getting to go, you know, just 1 week later is pretty cool. Because you know, if sometimes they just do once a month, I'd have to wait a whole damn month now. But luckily we get this extra September show. So
actually, when you come to think about it, if they didn't have this show, you wouldn't have an AIW show until November.
Hell on earth, right? Yeah, because they're not running October, so.
No, 200 down.
Oh yeah, that's in Akron, right? Yeah, you're right. When is that? October what?
November 2nd.
On November 2nd. Yeah, right. So that's not in October either. So they're not running in October.
I'm just saying. You said Hell on Earth, and I'm like, no,
right.
I mean, oh god, if it was nothing until then, that would have sucked. But
shit, right? Yeah.
Good. We'll get into 200 like in so many weeks or when that's going to be, or a month or so. I'm definitely looking forward to that, but we're not going to get into that right now.
So I like that Akron place though.
Yeah, I love kind of how spread out it is. It's not one of the bigger venues like the Ohio Nets was as what Stacy and I think you guys on Pod Van Dam call it the volleyball cavern.
Yeah.
So I love that because the fucking merch section was just its own being, and you didn't have to worry about tight lines, because I know that's what I ran into at the Odeon. I wanted to buy something off Britt Baker, but her line was right next to D'Lo's, and they both had a line in the same kind of cramped area at the Odeon. I'm like, how am I supposed to get through here? And people were getting stuff from Martinez too.
Yeah, it was busy, huh? I figured that show would be pretty. I don't love the merch area at the Odeon, but what are you going to do? You know, there's not really anywhere else they can put it, but it's just not a lot of room back there.
I'm kind of wondering what the merch layout kind of situation will be for Janela. He's going to have to be like ringside, I would think.
He'll probably bring his stuff out intermission and be in the ring, and then I would just imagine otherwise he's just going to be walking around. Mm-hmm. Joey's just going to be walking around all night, I would imagine. So he probably won't be hard to grab and buy stuff off of. Just have an extra White Claw in your hand and be like, hey, come here, I want to buy you a shirt. And
I wonder if I should wear one of my Enzo and Cash shirts.
That's probably a good way to have Joey say something mean to you.
I would probably do the same thing I did with Stipe when I wore a Brock Lesnar shirt. I got a picture taken where it looks like he's punching me. I'd probably
wasn't he like choking you or something, like Homer Simpson style?
No, he was punching me. I would have, if I wore an Enzo and Cash shirt, which they're with my CM Punk shirts. I don't want to pull them out of my closet whatsoever, unless I'm like putting them in a box, which might very well happen soon. But if I did wear it and get a picture with him, I would want to get one actually like a Homer or Bart Simpson one where I'm getting choked out.
That's funny.
So,
oh boy.
So how's it going to feel for no more Joey Janela in AIW? How's that going to feel for you, one of the biggest, if not the biggest Joey Janela fans in AIW fan base?
It's definitely going to suck as my guy, but like I said, there's no shortage of great names to follow on the indies. You know, I got my boy Mance, I got my boy Josh Bishop. You know, Dom, Weird World. I love a lot of wrestlers in AIW. So, you know, there's no shortage of, guys to root for. And he's in AIW. You know, they're coming to Pittsburgh. They'll probably eventually come to Cleveland. So that's cool. You know, we'll get to see him there. So, it'll make those pay-per-views and stuff worth watching because there's not like a ton that I care about in AEW right now. So, you know, that's cool.
Yeah, we have two of our favorite wrestlers getting signed to AEW.
What's up with that, man? Because, like, isn't he supposed to be in the stable with the Dinosaur and the Jungle Kid? And then, like, last they had, like, some tournament or something's going on where he's not in it. It's just Jungle. I almost called him Jungle Jack because JR does. Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus.
I don't know.
That's, like, I feel like he's getting, like, pushed aside or something. I wish he would just be his own entity in AEW, not like with those two, personally.
Either that, or I wouldn't mind seeing like him work something alongside Janela. Because, I mean, ironically enough, I'm talking about him, but it's just I feel like those two have a real life friendship and everything. And if it wasn't for Janela, you know, we probably wouldn't have Marco Stunt in this situation.
Yeah, no, you're right. That's like his illegitimate son or whatever he calls it or whatever. But I could see them too. Yeah, he could take him under his wing and, I could see that. Definitely.
All right. We have the one match to talk about. This is it. Joey Janela versus Alex Shelley.
Yeah. I don't really know a ton about Alex Shelley because I didn't watch, really any Ring of Honor. I'm just, wasn't watching wrestling then. So I don't really know a ton about him. I've kind of went back and checked out some stuff, but I'm definitely not the reigning Alex Shelley expert. Ed would know a lot more than me, that's for sure.
The one person I think of for Alex Shelley, and there was this one chick who used to come to AIW all the time. Her Twitter handle's @FindAStone. And she used to, absolutely love Alex Shelley. Whenever he would come around, either here for AIW or other shows, she would always go. But I think she's one of the casualties of just kind of falling out of favor of wrestling. And it's not just WWE or whatever. It's, everything. Even AIW.
Yeah.
Which, that shit definitely sucks. That's a story for a different day, just when people go down that road. But she would have been perfect to talk about, Alex Shelley. And, to me, I was never a big Alex Shelley fan. I don't even think Ring of Honor. I think of TNA, him and Chris Sabin. Granted, they were the Motor City Machine Guns in Ring of Honor and TNA, but that was my first introduction to them.
Okay.
My big thing, knock on Alex Shelley, he's the only wrestler, at least of his caliber, I've never seen have a merch table. No t-shirts, no 8x10s, no hey, come take a picture, nothing.
Really?
Because I think at one point I wanted to get maybe a picture with him, but you kind of you have to wait for after the show, maybe, if he's up for it. So I'm I'm not barking up that tree, but it's one thing I've always noticed, he never has a merch table.
Damn, that's weird. Does he not like money or?
I don't know. I really don't know. Normally, I kind of think about that with any wrestler. If you don't have a merch table, what are you doing?
It just seems like missed opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Or even if, all you do is sell pictures. Pictures seem to be, on the end of a wrestler, cheap, and you're going to make a little bit of a profit on it, but kind of at least getting, pictures with fans. That should be something, I would say, free and enjoyable. It's enjoyable to fans, but if you're not doing it, I'm like, why?
Yeah, some guys just don't really give a shit, I guess. Maybe he's just one of those dudes. Just doesn't really care.
I mean, there's the ones that have the older mindset of, like, oh, I'm a bad guy. Like, I'm not going to sell stuff, which, fine, whatever. But hasn't been a bad guy all the time. So, like...
Yeah.
Like, what the
fuck? So is he babyface then against Janela? Or is Janela... Yeah, you know what I mean? Like... Who's... The match... It's a tweener match.
Him versus Dom was... There wasn't, like, a clear good guy, bad guy, or favorite. Like, it was definitely, like, split of Alex Shelley and Dominic Garrini of the Chance.
Yeah.
But this is Joey Janela's last show. I feel like more people are going to be behind him.
Yeah. Just because you're going to get... maybe I wouldn't say more people know him, but, like, currently more people are familiar with Joey. And everyone, like you said, it's his last show, so he's going to get the love that he... so rightfully deserves, but you're definitely going to have guys who know and love Alex Shelley and are going to be real jazzed to see him. I mean, how was the crowd seemed pretty hot for him versus Dom?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It was split.
Yeah,
there was the half that was chanting for Alex Shelley, and then the other half, which I know I was a part of, that was chanting for Dom, where the chant was going like Alex Shelley. Bone Collector, Alex Shelley, Bone Collector. Okay. So
it's hard to tell how many people are like chanting that sometimes on the live stuff. You know what I mean? If you're not there, if it's half and half, or it's just a couple guys, it's hard to say. But yeah, I'd say that's probably going to be pretty similar to what'll happen Thursday. I bet.
I'm thinking it's going to be more people behind
Joey.
I mean, it's if I'm going to compare it to anything. And granted, it's definitely not the same because of the audience, but this is his version of the whole shebang.
Yeah, right, exactly. But there are a handful of people. I mean, not maybe even a little more than a handful, but there's some people that are turned off by Joey. They don't love him. So
that's why Jim Cornette's not invited.
No, I mean like in AIW.
Yeah,
like. There's a handful of people. What's his name? My one buddy, Jose, man, his mom used to come all the time. She was a big Alex Daniels guy. And when Joey took the belt off him, man, she hasn't been for a while. I have not seen Jose's mom in a while.
Wow.
And that's because she don't like Janela.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, not everyone loves him, but, I definitely think it's his, like you're saying, it's his
night.
It's his, like going away, whole shebang, whatever. I think people will definitely I guess so, maybe more. Yeah, I thought 50-50, but I guess not. Yeah, I guess it'll probably be more Janela. I don't know. I know I'm going to be losing my shit, that's for sure.
Are you going to cry?
No, what do you mean cry? What am I going to cry for?
There's nothing wrong with crying. There's definitely nothing wrong with crying.
Crying over a wrestler leaving your favorite promotion, yeah, there's something wrong with that. I'm sorry.
Well, it depends.
Your dad dies, your mom or grandma or somebody you love dies, something sad happens. Okay, yeah. Your favorite wrestler leaving a promotion, you can't cry to that.
You're thinking sad crying. There's also happy crying.
Okay, I guess, yeah. Like when Rick was laughing so hard at Nate Webb that first time when he was back to he's crying, that was an acceptable cry. I'll give you that. That was fucking hilarious.
Okay, that one's laughter crying, but like there's definitely like because I'm like not being a huge like Janela fan, but maybe kind of like looking at like Johnny. Like I don't know if I cried, but I know like I felt emotion because like here's my favorite wrestler, his last local show, and now he's going like after this he's going off to live his dreams. Like to me that's fucking awesome, and anytime I see him on a WWE YouTube video or something, I'm just like, fuck yeah, that's my dude fucking doing it. So proud. Yep. So happy for him. And I think like a guy like, or just not even just Janela, but a lot of the people that we've been fans of that are now going to AEW, whether it be Britt Baker, Joey Janela, Marco Stunt, I'm really happy for all of them because here's this newer product in AEW and a lot of people are going to be buzzing about it. Maybe some of the people buzzing about it because they loved the Young Bucks, Cody and Kenny Omega and all that from New Japan and being the elite and like that's like their biggest reason to be a fan, but they're coming in and like, oh, who's this Joey Janela guy? Oh, who's this Britt Baker? Who's this Marco Stunt kid? Who's Jungle Boy? Like, they're going to get introduced to new wrestlers. To me, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I'm happy for it. I think any type of competition like that in mainstream is good. It may not be great. I guess it remains to be seen as far as for AEW or AIW and like smaller indies, but I think it's good for people, for mainstream wrestling. I think the stuff like that's only going to make WWE better,
I've always
people being jazzed for AEW is only going to,
When there was only 3 wrestling companies, as I would say, WWE, Ring of Honor, TNA, I've always felt like it was the next man up. And then maybe you did have other companies, Evolve, Dragon Gate, and Chikara, like out of that, a lot of those still around. Those were like some bigger companies compared to some regional stuff. But it's always definitely been next man up. And, Dom going to MLW, and obviously he's part of a system to where he's filling somebody's spot who moved from MLW, and so that person, like, you know what I'm saying, to where we were seeing him move up. It's like, all right, that's great. Like, the future of independent wrestling is in good hands, and if a guy like him is getting brought up, and I think you're going to see more wrestlers shine, because now we have all these other bigger companies, and maybe you do get fans who look into these other companies, these other wrestlers, and learn new people. But obviously, which I don't know the whole history because I wasn't watching independent wrestling at the time, but you have a guy like Punk, when he got signed, someone had to take his place in Ring of Honor. And years later, you get Kevin Steen in that situation of him being one of the top guys. And it's just kind of, I've always felt how this goes, and I think it's just who the fuck's going to step up. And I think that's why this year getting a guy like Josh Bishop, like, he's fucking stepping up like a motherfucker.
Yeah, he wants it. Got to go out and get it, man. The opportunities are there. You just gotta go out and get them, and he's definitely doing it. But I also think AEW getting bigger and drawing newer fans like that, people saying, "Oh, who's Janela?" or "Who's blah blah." They're gonna see that, and then if they like it, which is probably a pretty good chance they will, then they're going to think to themselves, if they go any farther down the rabbit hole, oh, these guys, like if they were on the fence about AIW or any type of local indie around their area, once they see these guys in AEW, oh, that was pretty cool, and they used to be on these indies, maybe I should go check that stuff out. Maybe the indies and these smaller companies are worth checking out if guys like this are coming from there. So I think it could be good for them. I don't know.
I do think it's one thing that we need to speak more as fans, because like I had a person who's like a somewhat of a friend of mine through Facebook, and I seen him at Walmart, and this was right after Bobblehead Night, and he's like, "Oh, I saw you meet D'Lo." Then he goes, "How do you meet all these wrestlers?" And I'm like, I tell everybody who, like, if they're a fan, I'm like, you gotta check out AIW. Like, yeah, I get to meet all these wrestlers, I get to meet all these legends, but how many people did I get to see when you didn't know who they were? And then eventually I get to look back at, guys like Gargano, guys like, now DJZ, so many people.
Steen. Kevin Owens, Adam Cole.
So where it's like, yeah, like, come. And there's even like some friends of mine, like a couple months, like, they were kind of like talking shit about WWE, about some pay-per-view. And they're like, yeah, I'm really excited for this, for AEW. Can't wait for it to start. And I tagged, I'm like, quit sleeping on Absolute Intense Wrestling. And I tagged Absolute Intense Wrestling. Kind of like, click this link, check them out. Like, dude, it's here. And one of the dudes that was in the conversation lives in Lakewood. Like, it was in your backyard, man. Like, it's so close for you.
Yeah. It's hard to believe that there's wrestling fans. To me, it's like, it's hard to believe that there's wrestling fans that wouldn't go to an indie show. If you like WWE and stuff, that'd be like saying, I was what's the fucking word? Like, compare it to music. Like, if you would have fun at a big show at like Gund Arena, like some big arena or a big large show, could you imagine if you got to see music just as good at smaller venues? Like, you know what I mean? Like how great that is when you go to smaller venues and see bands play. Like, it's the same thing. Like, You know, you like wrestling. Why wouldn't you want to see wrestling on a smaller level where it's right there in your face and you can go up and talk to all these guys? I never understand that with WWE fans like being like wary of the indies. Like, why wouldn't you want to go check that out?
I was in that boat once. I remember clicking through channels and coming on Sports Time Ohio, oddly enough, what was then PWO, and kind of being like having a conversation with somebody. And I'm like, oh, this isn't, I mean, this is kind of like some amateur shit. I don't even know what I said, but I remember kind of like just kind of passing it off. And literally a little over a year later, that was the stuff that got me into independent wrestling. And I kind of get where some fans could be weary. There are companies out there that they're shindy, or even if they're not like the super of the shindies, they're the local independent wrestling company that doesn't really have any big names. It's all like kind of like local guys. Maybe they get some people from another still local company, and it's just like I can understand that, but
oh yeah, but AIW, when they're constantly putting out big name after big name, how do you sleep on that, you know?
And even some of the flyers you figure out bringing in some of these big names, if you were a fan of WCW over the past year and a half, there's been at least one name, and I'm not counting, I'm just knowing there's at least one WCW name that you'd be like, oh my god. Same thing with WWE and ECW, especially we get at least one time a year of some ECW name coming for Wrestle Rager. Coming up here, end of this year, we have fucking already announced $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase coming to 200. That I'm really excited about. And finally, making his return to the area since 2011, Kevin Nash. I'm pumped about that. Yeah, that's gonna
be big.
Like, my girlfriend likes wrestling, but she doesn't come to every show, but she wants to meet Kevin Nash because he was in fucking Magic Mike. So
that's funny.
That could potentially, that's probably going to be another ticket for AIW and another $30 meet and greet. Fucking autograph and picture.
There you go. Is she going to have him sign that DVD?
I don't know. I don't even know.
Oh, come on. You have to. You have to go to like a GameStop or an Exchange or something. Oh, guarantee you could get that for like $5.
Oh, she has. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, we have it.
Okay, well, yeah, then you don't even have to buy it. And I was going to say, if you didn't want to like,
no, I don't know if that's what she's going to get the sign. Like, I don't know. Like, I know for me,
she should. If that's for her, how she knows him, she should, because that's hilarious.
I kind of want to get the VHS copy of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 and have him sign it.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Or the Mattel retro figure that looks like the old Hasbro's. That's Diesel. One of the two. Like, I'm pumped for that. I love Kevin Nash. Anyway.
Hell yeah.
So, who do you think's going to win this one match? Joey Janela or Alex Shelley?
I think, he puts whoever over. He's going to, Alex Shelley will win. I think you lose your final match always. I mean, we'll see though. I don't know. DJZ didn't. He won, so.
Yeah, I remember that really surprised me. I'm going to go out on a limb. We got a lot of surprises. We don't know any of the surprises, so I can't go into detail, but something tells me this match isn't ending Joey Janela versus Alex Shelley. Something's happening. I don't know what, but something is going to happen. And I think Joey might be the kind of guy that does go out like Johnny did and lose his final match.
Sure. Yeah, I'm excited. I know that. I'm pretty excited. I think it's going to be a fun night of, not knowing what's coming ahead, and that's always fun, in my opinion.
It's definitely going to be a fun show, and yeah, there's got to be some sort of surprise.
Yeah, I'm excited. That's for sure.
All right, that's our one match. We made sure to ramble and add some content for this episode. We're going to be roughly around the hour mark after I take out silences and everything. So I think that's kind of where I wanted to hit. So any, final thoughts or last minute plugs before we go?
Yeah. We're going to have, you could listen to me more. If you don't know, obviously I'm on Pod Van Dam. This week we're having, AIW owner John Thorne on the show. So, give us a call. At least you put this out on Thursday, right? Thursday morning? Wednesday. Okay, good. That's an extra day because I believe we're recording on Friday. So Wednesday or Thursday, call the voicemail line, 209-POD-VDAM. I believe it's 209-8. Shit. Wait, I gotta find it. I don't even know my own damn phone number.
Yeah, what? Like, you guys...
209-763-8326. It's hard. I don't know too many phone numbers. I'm sorry, man. But yeah, call. Give us some questions. Ask John Thorne a question, or just say something to him, and we'll play it for him, and you can hear what he says. Other than that, you can follow me on Twitter at You Can Call Me Ron. I could spell it out because apparently it's really hard. Tyler's dad looked for me for quite a while and spelled my handle many different ways before he finally got it.
You're welcome, Internet.
But, yeah, that was awesome. Thank you for the detective work on that. Shout out to Tyler's dad. Tyler also. Jesse, what's up, boys? But yeah, we have Pod Van Dam as an Instagram. We have a Facebook at Pod Van Dam and all that stuff. Yeah, that's it.
And I don't know if I've said it on the show, but over the last year, the evolution of that show is insane. Of Ed going like, I want to put out a show every week. You know, I'm getting tired of like not doing anything. So he starts that up, and then you jump on, and then Jonah jumps on, and then like after Jonah, like the floodgates kind of opened of creativity and just adding to the show. And it's a really weird night and day difference if you go back to the old format to now. And it's just gotten like better and better.
Yeah, it's different. We've had a lot of milestones. The Dom episode was a big one for us. The Phil Brony stuff, we got a lot of downloads. That put a lot of new faces onto us. Jonah coming on the show and just all that stuff, like the producing and editing, it just sounds much different, which is great. But yeah, it's a fun time. It's good to be a part of. I'm enjoying the ride until some fucking Jay Brown steals the idea from us and gets way more popular with it, which I assume happens any day now.
And also, like, just the addition of Jonah in the local community of AIW, I feel like in between, like, everything with Pod Van Dam and Good Company, it's like the AIW community, whatever you want to call it, just it kind of, like, bumped up a notch.
Yeah, it's nice to have somebody, doing the after parties and doing stuff like that who cares about the product and likes it, because, then they're going to make sure that it's a good time and everyone, people go, and it's nice to go to an after party or a place like that and spend money where you're like, well, cool, I'd rather give this guy money because, like, he likes this, he likes AIW, and then he's giving AIW money, Yeah. So that's always a good thing. Believe it or not, I don't know if I ever said this. I know I have on our show, but Jonah is the one who brought me to AIW. He brought me to my first show in 2016, the Double Dare tournament. So he's actually the one who brought me in. But then when he opened his second restaurant, Good Companies, he has another one too. When he opened his second one, he was pretty busy for like almost a good full 2 years. So he could really only come to like the end. He would usually make it for like the last match or this or that. But then once they opened Good Company, I'm like, man, we should start integrating this. And he was like, you're right. I own a restaurant. We could do whatever we want. So
even like even the shit with starting the Patreon for Justice, it's just that added bit of him coming in. It just has made the community better.
Yeah. He always jokes and says that I'm like a really loyal person, but he is as well. And he's a smart guy. He's a kind guy. So, stuff like that comes natural to him. I don't think he even thought a second about the GoFundMe thing. That was just what he thought was supposed to be done. So, he took care of it. But yeah, it's kind of the dude he is. He's a good guy.
And of course, you can find myself at HeavySet330 on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Much like you can find the show on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, Facebook.com/WrestlingCheers, Twitter.com/WrestlingCheers, and Instagram.com/WrestlingCheers. Email, if you so choose to desire, WrestlingCheers@gmail.com. We have the merch store over at whatamaneuver.net, and I don't plug it anymore, but we still have the pint glasses and the koozies. Rick, I still owe you one because we didn't hook up after the show to give you the glass that you already paid for, and we keep putting that off. But they are available. I don't currently have them in my car, but if you want them, let me know, and I can bring them to shows. And someday I think I was selling them for $10 for both. Don't sell them separately, because I bought exactly the same amount of each, and I don't want to sell like a koozie and not a pint glass. So just $10 for both. Still available. Please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to this podcast, whether it be Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or Podbean, WrestlingCheers.podbean.com. Follow our friends on the Trending Topics Network, such as All Beer Inside, Eurovision Showcase, Old School at the Movies, and Wrestling with Altitude. Check out our other podcasting friends, such as Let the Hate Flow Through You, Pod Van Dam, Super Fantastic Podcast, Road Home from Wrestling, Haunted Home Video, The IndieCast, Center of the Universe, Sobros Network, UXWA Today, Big Gold Belt Podcast, The Co-Host Wrestling Show, Spotlight Series, I Got Your 5 Stars and Not Ready for Primetime Wrestling. Check out our other non-podcasting friends, such as Thirst Store Jobber, The Savage Dash, PowerSlam.tv, use Wrestling Cheers all one word and get your first month free, Ringside Shots Photography, Sickening Pictures, Good Company, Stay Tough, Smokin' Jay's Barbecue, Wrestle Void, Midwest Territory, Southern Underground Pro, and the official graphic designer of Wrestling Cheers, Moy Boy Designs. That will do it for us here on Wrestling Cheers, where everybody knows your name, even if you got signed by AEW. Later.
Bye.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Would you like to get away? Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You're the way of the sea, brothers are all the same.